uniform are in charge. The guy in charge is pretending to be a Democrat, but he's military in spirit, and it's the spirit that matters. You see, in Nigeria operates within that periphery. How is it affecting Tinubu's political for development? Transport will be chaotic. But in all this, you need to survive to reshape it, to recreate it. Are you ready for this? It's about the lessons of war. Abbas Arakchi is the foreign minister of Iran. The
United States show
is the foreign minister of Iran.
The United States showed that they have no respect to United Nations Charter. I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy. We are now calculating the damages. And as I said, the damages are not only for our nuclear facilities. The damages are for the United Nations Charter. It was not only Iran's facilities which was bombed, it was also the United Nations Charter. It was also non-proliferation which was bombed last night by Americans. And it was the rule of law and international law which was bombed. So now we have to see how much room is left for diplomacy, and we will decide.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
On Thursday, 12 August 2025, the IAEA, that is the International Atomic Energy Agency, had a meeting. On that day, the board of the IAEA formally declared Iran in breach of its non-proliferation obligations for the first time in 20 years. The resolution said Iran's many failures to provide the agency with full answers about its undeclared nuclear material and nuclear activities constituted non-compliance. The agency also expressed concern about Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium, which can be used to make reactor fuel, but also nuclear weapons. It follows a report from the IAEA week before, which criticized Iran's general lack of cooperation and said it had enough uranium to enrich, and that can reach about 60% purity, near weapons grade, to potentially make 9 nuclear bombs. After this decision by the IAEA, Israel began the bombing of Iran. Why did Israel take Iran unaware? How was Israel able to dismantle Iran's air defenses? Did Iran learn lessons from the war? Who deployed it to win? That is why men of good leadership must emerge. If you go to a place like Ado, Hawaii, that is why men of good leadership must emerge. If you go to a place like Ado, Hawaii, you see the ingredients of prosperity waiting to be told. Story for development and learn the lessons of war. Let's go back to Ado-Awaye, near Iseyin, in Oyo State.
Ado-Awaye is an assemblage of rocks. In the ancient time, battle wars are very many. So they decided to settle here as a means of security haven to provide security for them. Because once you are in the top of the mountain and you see enemy coming down the mountain, the cultural thing that people used to do is to roll down movable rocks, to hit the enemy that are coming down. So it's a defined arrangement that Ado town is settled around where there are mountains. And because of that, in history, no battle, no war has ever overcome Ado-Awaye. They are people on the top of the mountain. And some religious people say a city set on the hill cannot be hid. But in history, no battle, no war has ever overcome Ado-Awaye. They are people on the top of the mountain. And some religious people say when he noticed, he got to the foot of this mountain, now called Ado Mountain. He noticed some smoke on the top of the mountain. Entourage to make a way to the top of the mountain. When they got there, they met some Dawa who are also being sent out of. We agree, we stay here. And that became the name of the mountain since that time, and the name of the new settlement, Ile-Ado, Ado Town.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Worry about my mouth, oh. As an African man, and that's what they use them. Chewing stick every morning. Okay? Toilet, toothpaste. No. Chewing stick where my forefathers teach me for Africa. Go wash all the corner.
Edmondo Bilo is live.
Must fit dial star 414 star 2 hash to activate. T's and C's apply.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
West Midlands Open University ń tẹ̀síwájú láti mú ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wà lárọ̀ọ́wọ́tó láì fanilápòyà. Ẹ̀tún wa gbọ́ tuntun. Olùdásílẹ̀ Kábíyèsí Ọba Murtala Adébáyọ̀ Àkàndé MFR ti ṣètò àǹfààní ẹ̀dínwó ìdá 40 nínú 100 fún gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó bá fẹ́ wọlé fún sáà 2024-2025. Ẹ lè forúkọsílẹ̀ kí ẹ sì san